Caroline is down in Cabo San Lucas, and Alan and I are up here by ourselves. And she kept talking on the phone, and I thought none of us can hear her, so it's best that you just hear us. So anyway, here we are today, and I have an appointment later tonight, so we did say Facebook at Big Al's Bar a little earlier than we usually do, but that's okay, isn't it? For those of you on the East Coast, it's kind of perfect, isn't it? So it's sort of here in the desert, almost bitter cold. I know.
Well, it's like a cold snap. I mean, the temperature. Yesterday, temperature was 40 when we woke up. 40 degrees.
40 degrees, yeah.
And the nighttime was during the 30s.
So those of you back east that are, in the snow, you're going, big deal. But actually, it's a big deal here. And I don't know why. It feels colder when it's 40 degrees here than when you're in New York. It's 40 degrees. It's just like different. So anyway, we're just going to have a drink. Pour yourselves a tequila.
Okay.
It's a nice time of the day to have a tequila.
Okay, so
I'll
I'm going to do.
I'll have one, Big Al.
Okay.
Okay. And we just had some great soup. And kind of doing the day topsy-turvy today. You know what I've been doing all day? I've been doing interviews all day for my book, A New Way to Age. I'm just like a little automaton today. But this book has taken off. I can't believe it. I mean, I've written a lot of books, but this one's like on fire. And the interviews today were so thoughtful and provocative, and a lot of the interviews today are podcasts. And something I'm thinking of doing, although I think our Facebook Live is very much like a podcast, but it's interesting because it's free form, and these are people who talk for a living, and it's amazing how many of them watch us on Facebook Live. Facebook Live has become such a popular show. So what they mainly want to know from A New Way to Age is, what is the new way to age? And to me, it's something that I've been talking to you about for so long. It's about understanding that aging is about worn out parts, and that when your parts start wearing out, well, here you go.
Okay.
To my
health.
To my health, yeah. When you listen to the language of your body, and the language is, I'm itchy, I'm bitchy, I'm sleepy, I'm sweaty, I'm bloated, I'm forgetful, I'm all dried up. Those are the 7 doors of menopause. But there's more. That joint pain that you've got, that's a language. That pain you feel in your chest, that's a language. The constipation, the bloating, that's a language. The body is telling us all the time. It's like almost yelling at us all the time, and we never seem to listen until we're in the catastrophic state and say things to ourselves like, yeah, I wasn't feeling so well, or yeah, that was bothering me for a long time. So I'm trying to teach you in this book through the doctors that I interview, because I'm not a doctor.
You're my doctor.
And I used to like to play doctor. How to hear the language, and then in most cases you can find the answer to your body language in here. There's so many interesting doctors in here. One new doctor I'm introducing you to in here is Dr. Alan Magaziner. He was trained by Dr. Jonathan Wright, who I always talk about in Seattle. Dr. Wright is always right. And then again, there's another doctor in here, Dr. Hertog, who is the leading endocrinologist in Europe, in Belgium. And he's responsible for the fact that thyroid is legal in Europe. Can you imagine? It used to be illegal to sell thyroid medication. Thyroid is like, the only way I can describe the importance of the thyroid is you go to the symphony, and the symphony leader, the conductor is, let's say, Zubin Mehta. And if Zubin Mehta doesn't show up, all the other players on, what is all that noise? Is that Caroline's phone? Caroline, you should turn your phone off. It's very, very distracting. If Zubin Mehta doesn't show up for the symphony, now all those other players back there are total pros. total. They can all play, but if they don't have Zubin telling them what to play, they don't know what to play, but they're professionals and they've been hired for the job, so they go, okay, and then they all play what they think they should play, and the sound is discordant. Does that make sense in terms? That's what the thyroid does. The thyroid is Zubin meta. And the thyroid is the one who goes, okay, adrenals, you do that. Cortisol, you do that. Insulin, you do that. Progesterone, you do that. That's what the thyroid's doing. It's sending all the messages and the messengers out to do their job. So if your doctor says your thyroid's a little off, you should really pay attention to that, because that's the beginning of a whole lot of decline, bodily decline. And thyroid, I can tell when I'm watching television, and I'll sit there with that and I'll go, oh, that guy has thyroid problems. It shows up on men more easily than women because we can wear eyebrow pencil. But if you're missing the outer third of your eyebrow, your thyroid's off. If your skin has gotten very hang-doggy, thyroid. If you're really hot or really cold, or it's sometimes hot and sometimes cold, that's your thyroid. If you got unexplained weight gain, a lot of that is thyroid. Insulin is a big part of that. And what I was explaining today to this one interviewer was how the hormone system works, and that's in here too. It's a section, and it's comprehensive. And there's new stuff in here in case you've read my other hormone books. But I had to assume when I wrote this book that somebody's going to pick this up who's never been introduced to this new kind of medicine. And what I wanted to let that person know is these are real doctors, and these are extraordinary doctors because they've reached a point where they realize they've hit the wall with allopathic medicine, meaning here's the problem, here's the drug for that problem, and went back to school. Can you imagine if you're a doctor and then going back to school? That's true dedication. And when I first started out writing books and looking for these doctors, I could only find about 30 in the entire country. And now all over the world there are millions of doctors, which means a movement has started. And this one guy said to me today, well then, we need another 10 Suzanne Somers to, keep this movement going. I said, no, we don't. The movement has already started. The women who are so helped by this all tell 10 women. You do, don't you? And then those women tell 10 women, and those women tell 10 women. That's how a movement gets started.
As a matter of fact, there are a lot of women who are commenting on the book. Yeah. They just bought it. They can't wait to read it. They bought it. They read it. They love it. They bought the book plus the audio book.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, you should have let me record that audio book. Everybody's mad that we didn't record
Okay, here's the reason.
Why did we not have me
here's
record
the reason. Here's the reason. Okay.
I'll drink while he talks.
Okay.
Okay, come over here.
It's about you want me to come over next to you? Okay.
For a little while, because I want you to read their comments.
Okay.
But come over here and you explain to them why you didn't want me to spend my time reading the book.
Okay.
Okay, here's Big Al. He's in sunglasses.
Okay. So
what is it, Al?
It's about a 2 or 3 day event, okay?
To read a book.
To record the audio version of the book. And it's time well spent. However, this woman is unbelievably busy, okay? She forces me to make her busy. It's a strange relationship, I know. But if she's not really busy, I get a look, okay? And I know that look. Okay? It's like when Bruce was a little boy, and he's on the other side of the room and he was misbehaving, all he had to see from Suzanne was this.
The finger, the mother finger, right?
The mother finger.
We all have the mother finger, and I can do it better than him because I'm a mother.
Anyway.
You all done it, haven't you? And your kid goes, what?
Anyway, we've actually done maybe three or four audiobooks out of the 27 books.
I have.
The last audiobook that we did, or were doing, was several years ago.
I was doing step by step.
Okay, that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the book, but we're in a little studio, and she's sitting on a stool in front of a microphone, and I'm with the audio engineer behind the glass, and I'm reading something, but I'm kind of listening to her, and all of a sudden there's silence. I look up, and she had fallen asleep.
Reading.
Okay. Now, I wouldn't say it's because the book was boring.
No.
It's that
I was tired.
She was tired
I'd been
because
working
she
all
forced
day.
me to make her busy. Okay? So it wasn't my fault at all.
No, it wasn't your
And
fault.
that's when we actually didn't even finish recording that book.
No, it's still sitting there.
Somewhere.
And then the guy,
Right.
then the guy died.
What guy?
The who owned the studio.
He did?
Yeah. Yeah, you know. Think of who owned the studio. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. I don't want to say.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Oh,
and so
nice guy.
when he, really nice guy, and then when he
Yeah.
died, so did the
The
three-quarters of
audiobook.
the audiobook.
Right.
I'll tell you another reason why I didn't.
I know another reason.
What?
Whenever Suzanne is lecturing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a third of the people who come bring along one of her books, often her current book, but not necessarily. And the book is loaded with little stickies, those little Post-its, because it's a reference book. And they have posted those stickies in there so they can go back and refer to it, which is kind of tough to do with an audiobook.
This time we did it on the side.
Yeah.
We shaded it so you can go to different sections by shading it. I don't know why it took me 27 books to figure that one out. But also, a book like this, you'll be reading here, and then you'll go, what did she say about that? And then you go back here.
Yeah.
Have you ever, you can't do that on an audiobook very easily. You can't do it on Kindle all that easily. Do they still have Kindle? You don't read books on your iPad.
No, actually, the last time I used Kindle was when I started the fireplace in our bathroom.
That's Kindling.
Oh, right.
Kindling. Yeah. Yeah. You would have been a good camper.
Yeah. No.
No, you would, because you like making piles, and you I think you would be a good
No,
good
but you know,
camper.
no.
I don't know about you, but our family vacations, 2 weeks every year, we go to Lake Tahoe and we camp, and I was a really good camper, like really good. But that's because I always like to play house, and when I played house, I would set everything up just perfect, and it's kind of paid off. I make a good house, don't I?
You make the best house.
Thank you. Thank
The
you.
reason I wouldn't be a good camper,
Why is that?
and it's actually the same reason when Stephen was going to school in Ojai, and they went on a 3-day camping trip.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh, it's all about going to the bathroom.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to understand, Alan grew up in a boarding house. You know when you see someone with really bad manners, you go, what, are you born in a boarding house? He was. He doesn't have bad manners, though. Your mother would have slapped the crap out of your hands if you reached into the bowl. But anyway, where was I going?
You're on your own, kid.
Yeah, right.
Okay, you're on your own.
Right,
No, you know
right.
what it is? It was all about the bathroom. Unless there's a flush toilet
Yes.
on the
yeah.
camping
Oh,
trip.
that's what
count me out.
So the boarding house, his mother's so incredible. She came from Poland, and she got herself to Canada. That's a long story in itself. And she started out scrubbing floors at the train station in Toronto, saved the money like immigrants do. Such an incredible thing. And she bought this house, turned it into a boarding house. 17 people grew up in this house. 1 bathroom. That's why camping is not his thing.
And no hot water.
And no hot water. So tell me who lived in your house.
8 Chinese brothers.
Uh-huh.
They all lived in one room, but it was a large room. It was the largest room in the house. Then there was Bill Monger, who was an engineer. He lived in the attic. Harry Land, who was a tailor, lived in the attic. Then
Yeah.
there was Van Alphen, who was a cartographer, who lived there.
Cartographer's a map maker?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then there was the Reverend Sutherland. He lived there. Let's see who. Oh, then there was an artist from Trinidad named Eric Deleuze.
Oh,
He
yeah.
lived there. Then there was a blind alcoholic trumpet player who used to set the bed on fire every Friday night. Who else? Well, then there was a French-Canadian hooker. I won't mention her name. Who else?
She's got to be 120 now, so I just think you
Probably,
could probably...
yeah. Rita.
No, then there was Okwa Chikwa.
Yeah, then there was
The
then there was a
Nigerian
man,
prince.
and I shared a room with everybody. I never had my own room.
Oh,
And I shared a room with Okwachikwa Ikejani, who was a Nigerian from a fairly wealthy family, I think in northern Nigeria, where the tribe came from. And he was going to the University of Toronto Medical School. And everybody in my family, all my cousins, everybody, they're all doctors. And he said to me one day, I want you to come with me to the lab. I said, what's the lab? He said, it's where we do experiments. And I thought, that'll be interesting. So one night we went to the lab, and he took a rat out of a cage and He pinned the rat
Ew.
down to the table, and I thought,
Was it a live rat or a dead rat?
No,
a live rat.
Live rat.
By the way, on all our cosmetics, we don't do any animal testing.
Yeah.
Now I really know why.
Then he took a scalpel, and he slit the rat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, as soon as I
I
saw
could have
that,
handled that more than
no,
you.
as soon as I saw that, I said to myself, I'm never going to be a doctor. And I'm glad I wasn't a doctor.
Me
I would have
too.
made a lousy doctor.
Yeah, you would have.
Okay,
And
lousy.
you're very good at what you do.
Very good at
whatever is you.
whatever
How do you
it is,
describe what you do?
I don't know.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
go over his resume and the success he had in Canada and the Johnny Carson of Canada and he had, remember Howdy Doody? That any of you who are my age, go over and see if they're saying anything over there, and then come back because you're fun. He had a show called Razzle Dazzle, which was every day, and a peanut gallery of kids. And
Any razzle dazzlers watching?
and the announcer would go, "Now, Al Hamill," and Alan would run out, and all the kids would go, "Yay!" And Alan would turn around and go, "Shut up!" So it was one of those kids yelling shows that adults like too. You weren't as bad as Soupy Sales. These are other names. You have to be our ages to know who Soupy Sales is. Soupy Sales had that kind of show where he talked to the kids and everything. He dressed kind of cute. And he leans into the camera one day and goes, "Okay, boys and girls, here's what I want you to do. I want you to all go in Mommy's purse and get Uncle Soupy $1 and send it. Here's the address and send it to Uncle Soupy." How much money did he pull in?
I think 20,000.
And then they cut that off.
Yeah. Actually, I saw Soupy before a national audience saw Soupy.
Oh, yeah?
Because I was living in Windsor and sometimes Detroit, and he had a show on WXYZ in Detroit called Soupy Sales, or Soupy, and he did the kids version at noon every day when all the kids came home for lunch, which kids came home for lunch in those days.
That's right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then he would
got real lunches.
He would do exactly the same show at midnight for adults, but it was really racy. Go figure. It was the same show.
That's funny.
Okay? So Soupy was really...
That's funny.
Really talented. Yeah.
Well, television used to define our lives. I think the success of Three's Company was so much about the fact that we had three choices. And because Tuesday night on ABC was the most popular night of the week, and it was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley and Three's Company, people would plan their night around it. And I really experienced this when I was in New York a couple of weeks ago with people acting strange around me. And I think, why are they acting strange? And then it kept coming up, I grew up with you. And I remember when I met people when I first became famous who I grew up with, I'd get kind of awestruck around them. And I thought, how weird life, the cycle of life, that they're nervous around me now because I'm so scary.
You are. So someone says hello from Saskatchewan.
Oh, does she know Razzle Dazzle?
And I don't. She'd have to be 100 years old. But I can tell you, I can tell you right now, okay, that it's cold in Saskatchewan.
Isn't that where your eyelids froze short?
No, that was Winnipeg.
Oh, Winnipeg.
When I used to work for the Canadian National Railway, I was a newsie, and cigarettes, matches, chocolate bars, chewing gum, peanuts, biscuits, oranges, novelty contraceptives, pillows for rent, comic books for rent.
Oh.
Yeah. So we used to stay overnight at this, I wouldn't call it a hotel, but it was next to the train station in Winnipeg. I think it was it wasn't Main Street, Portage Street, I think it was. Portage or Main, I can't remember. And it was $3 a night. And there was no bathroom, no shower, nothing. There was a sink. That's all you had there. And to get from the bed to the sink, you literally walked uphill. And no one would ever use that sink because everyone who stayed in that room knew what guys use that sink for at night. Okay?
What? Peeing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Were they going to go down the hall?
No.
Okay.
No.
So one day I decided to go for a walk in Winnipeg, and it was 40 below zero. And I couldn't figure out why there was nobody on the street. And pretty soon my eyes started sticking together. Then my nose started sticking together. And then my lungs were on fire, and I realized I'm in trouble.
So if you're going to tell long stories, you have to come over on this side of the table.
Oh, okay.
You were over there to read their comments.
Oh, okay. Well, Okay, so Doris wants you to take a sip, okay?
Take a sip. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here to you, Doris.
And
Are
Rad
you
said
too, Doris?
we're out of, Rad is out of mascara, or either that or we are. Hello from the Caribou in British Columbia.
Hello.
Yeah, BC. I love BC.
Yeah, me too.
We're there every summer. And someone said, who's this? This is Teresa Becker Hears a Bird. Teresa, I would suggest, Teresa, that you consult a good doctor. Okay.
No, Teresa, I just heard the same bird. It sounded
Really?
like it was a bird in distress, or
Really?
yeah, it was making a strange noise. We had a fox on the road this morning, and we've been having visitations from the bighorn sheep, which is so exciting. And I have now been told to get out of bed. I went to the doctor yesterday, and I'm no longer bedbound. I'm going to be up, although my legs still get so tired because I usually do yoga every other day, have for 19 years, and to not work out and move it for 2 months, it's just, we fall apart real fast. The only consolation I have is I know that muscles have memory. It's all going to come back real soon as I can start doing my yoga. I can't do it full out yet. The fracture is still pretty fragile, but this has been a real exercise in acceptance and patience and receiving. I'm a giver. I'm sure most of you are. It's real easy. Well, it's not easy. It's thoughtful to be a giver, but it takes some practice to receive. Like, I have to ask Alan to do everything for me still.
Yeah. No, I like it. I'm honored to do it.
You are? Yes.
Yeah,
you are. You do it with such a...
By the way, Caroline just reminded me that it's 25% off the whole site today.
Yeah.
The code is SS, as in Suzanne Somers, SS25. By the way, can I show the folks our bighorn sheep?
Yeah.
I've showed them before, but it's such
How
an
do you do
incredible...
that?
Like this.
Oh. Can they see?
Yeah.
Those were from the other day, right?
Yeah, they're looking at it right now.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? That's right outside our bedroom. We lie in bed and look at that. So incredible. They don't come every day.
Look at them. Look at those guys.
I wish they would come every day, but because they don't come every day, it's like holy when they arrive. My heart soars.
Incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm so glad to be on the mend and to be coming back and get my energy back and start cooking again. But you've been so good. Alan's been doing so much of the cooking, and he's a really good cook. So it's not like, any kind of suffering.
I learned from my mother.
You did? His mother, aside from the 17 people who lived in her boarding house, she cooked for them, what, 1 meal a day or 3?
No, she made lunches for them, too.
So they came
And
down
she
and
made
they
the
have a
beds.
breakfast?
I can't remember.
So lunches, and then they had a big family dinner for 17 every night. Can you imagine? No wonder those people never left. Homemade food.
They never left.
And I'm sure, what was the rent?
$6 a week.
Oh my God.
That included laundry.
Oh my God.
And I used to help my mother change all the beds every week.
Oh my God.
That was
$6 a week.
Yeah.
What? That was what?
And also, my favorite thing to do in helping my mother, we had a clothesline in the backyard, and I loved it when she'd say to me, "Go outside and beat this rug." And I'd hang it on the clothesline, and she had a rug beater. Do they have rug beaters anymore?
It's called a broom, isn't it?
No, not at all. This was a rug beater, and I'd beat the crap out of the rug. It was a great way of getting rid of sort of pent-up hostilities or frustration,
What a wonderful thing to do with your mother, though.
Yeah, Laura Adams says I should write a book. I can't write a letter, Laura.
No, he's a great writer.
Okay. What's the name of the book? Karen Pearson wants to know.
A New Way to Age.
A New Way. It's her best book. It's her best book.
I think it is.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, I've loved them all. This one just sort of fell out of me. I was so clear on what I wanted to do. I wanted to take you, if you didn't know anything about it, so that I could bring you along and you'd like dig it and get into it right away. But I also didn't want to turn away any of my regular constituencies. So like the first 2 doctors who were there, none of you have met those 2 doctors before. They're getting so much business because the doctors are calling me going, wow, these books are just like the phone's ringing off the hook. Because you see yourself in there, even if you already know that, you go, oh, he would be good for me. He would be real good.
So somebody wants to know, who is this here? Rachel Labiche Miller wants to know, what is your favorite brand of tequila and why? Okay, here it is.
Two-parter. That's it.
Casa Dragones.
Yeah.
Okay, it's incredible tequila.
Yeah.
Really incredible tequila, and they have everything from low end to high end. But I drink the low end most of the time because the low end is really high end.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're looking, what happened? Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a great tequila, wow, something happened to those comments going up and down. I don't know what happened. They stopped. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold it. What's going on? Oh, Caroline stopped it. Caroline.
Why'd Caroline stop it?
Because I don't know how she did this. Caroline is able to stop what she's saying while everyone else goes by. So she's messing with us. Okay.
Well, she's on the beach watching whales and drinking pina coladas today.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for her. She worked so hard. And Caroline's had a rough year with the loss of her father. And what an example that she gave to all of us, the way she took care of her father so lovingly. You saw all those Saturdays with Tony's lunches that would make me drool when I'd watch her on video making them. So, I want to say one more thing about my mother-in-law. She charged $6 a week for...
Hold it. Someone wants me to hold the bottle up again.
That's my girl.
But hold it still.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Can you see that? It's a beautiful bottle.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Casa Dragones.
I like the simplicity of the bottle.
Yeah.
And so she's charging, I didn't realize it was that little, $6 a week, plus they got their sheets changed and they got lunch and dinner. What a buy. So when his mother died, many, many years later, she was a millionaire. How about that?
Amazing, huh?
That's the immigrant mentality. And...
Hey, Vanda's watching.
She is? Hi, Vanda.
Yeah, hi, Vanda.
And she had a lot of grandchildren, and she left each of the grandchildren a set amount of money, including Bruce. Isn't that great? And that was her way of saying, I totally accept you. Because he was the only grandchild who wasn't of her blood, and it didn't make any difference to her. That taught me everything. She was an incredible woman. Rest in peace, Margaret. You're a great woman.
Yeah, thank you.
And you raised a great son.
Thank you. So Lynn Lucas said, Hey, Alan, Suzanne, I just heard that couples that have a drink and sex are happier than those who don't. Where'd you hear that?
Probably from us.
Right.
Hey, yeah, we can start having sex again, Al.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know this, these little known trivia facts. When you have a fractured hip, there is no way to have sex. Well, I guess there might be. First of all, you're not in the mood. You're not in the mood because you hurt. And who wants to have sex with someone who's going, ow, ow, ow? You can't come from any angle without it hurting. And so we decided we didn't even discuss it, just kind of got put on the back burner. And when do you want to start doing that again, Al?
Well, I need a refresher course because it's been a while. Who's calling me here? Oh, Caroline's calling me.
Okay, you go over there and I'll talk to them. Hello? Anyway, that's just another thing that happened with this fractured hip thing. Oh, I have such empathy now and such compassion for people who are with canes and crutches and pains and trouble
you at the
walking.
bottom of the screen.
Yeah. So, God bless all of you who've been enduring stuff like this. I can't wait to be completely on the other side of this pain. And I don't like even talking about it. It's just it so encompassed my life. I went out for the first time the night before last, and I realized, I said to Alan, we're out. We've gone out. I know I went to New York for the week, but I had to go. I wanted to go. I wasn't not going to go. I spent a year and a half writing this. Alan had the whole promotional tour laid out. You can't cancel it because you can't say, I can't come this week, but I can come in 2 weeks. They go, good for you, but we've moved on to the next thing. So I had to go. And I was as careful as I could. And I had the crutch and I had a wheelchair. And Maybe the high heels weren't such a good idea, but when I came home, it did set me back. It put me back in bed for a couple of weeks. It was worth it. It was really worth it. And I love that the book is doing so well. Now, there are other things that I was thinking this morning. When Alan wakes up in the morning, he has a runny nose and is sneezy. Any of you have that?
Oh, great. What an attractive picture that is.
Oh, I know. And not having sex. No
runny
sex,
nose
runny
and
nose
sneezing.
and sneezing, yeah.
Yeah.
His eyes get kind of red and watery.
Oh,
and I say
great.
the same thing. Did you take it? And that means, did you take the Nasal Renew? We make this supplement. I think it's one of our greatest supplements called Nasal Renew. Because we finally figured out through the Scientific Advisory Board at Life Extension that we have a microbiome in our whole nose and sinus area, just like we have microbiome in our gut. So for the gut, what this book teaches you and what I've been trying to teach all of us.
So Nancy Storm Sekeres is reading her book, A New Way to Age, and she said, I cannot put it down.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Informational.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Isn't that nice?
Thank you. Well, what I was saying about the microbiome in the gut, that's why we have the probiotic. And I think our probiotic is so great. It's the dual encapsulated. And why does that matter if you have it? The dual encapsulated probiotic is, there's the probiotics inside the capsule. So when you take it, the first layer of the probiotic kind of gets melted away by the acid in the stomach, and that allows for the probiotic to get into the intestines, which is where you want it to go, rather than melting away in the stomach from the acid, not getting any benefit from it. So that's why taking a probiotic every day. If you've ever had an antibiotic, it messed it up. That's what antibiotics do, and it's amazing to me that the medical community is not savvy to this. They don't, whenever anybody I know is on an antibiotic, I go, are you taking a probiotic? No. Didn't your doctor tell you to take a probiotic? And I don't give any advice. I go, Anti takes away, pro puts back. Same thing with the whole sinus area. For whatever reason, a lot of people as they get older get runny, kind of sinusy eyes and nose and everything. The Nasal Renew rebalances the probiotic in the whole nasal and sinus area, and it works for him. He takes it within 15 minutes. Now, everybody's results are different, but within 15 minutes, it's gone. That's why I always say, did you take it? Because if it were me, but you're not, I would automatically, waking up, I'd take it. It can't hurt you at all. It's not. You're not taking a drug. That's what's so great about all this stuff. Everything in here. It's not. You don't become dependent on it like you do on drugs. And also, what I noticed, like with my pain medication for my hip, I didn't want to take the pain medication, but then the doctor's saying, you use up so much energy with pain. You got to take the pain medication. Then I'd say, take the pain medication. In the beginning, one would do it, and then you build up a tolerance, and then, the next couple of weeks, I'd have to take 2 to make it work. And now if I really wanted to work, I have to take 3. I hate that. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting on the other side of that also. It's about tolerance. But anyway, Nasal Renew. If you relate to that, or if your husband has red watery eyes, or if you have red watery eyes, and you notice red watery eyes, it's something that happens as people get older, especially, it's probably with women too, but we put on makeup, but you see a lot of men with red watery eyes. And now that you're watching television, watch the newscasters for 2 things. It's terrible. I assess everyone, but I can think of one guy, I won't say his name. He's got red, puffy, watery eyes all the time. And he also is missing an outer third of his eyebrows. And I go, yeah, you need to rebalance the microbiome in your sinus area and your nose area. And you need thyroid.
I just figured it out.
What? What'd you figure out?
The reason that I've had red eyes lately.
Why?
Because it's been a while since we've had sex. Okay? And I'm experiencing...
How long has it been since we've had sex?
14 years.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's Al lying. No, it's been quite a few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't usually talk about stuff like this, but...
Yeah, I'm suffering from backup.
Remember that guy on my show on She's the Sheriff? DSB?
Oh, yeah.
What was his name? He was so darling.
Yeah, the guy from Texas.
The guy from Texas. And I said, what's DSB? He said, dreaded sperm backup.
That's right.
So Al has DSB.
That's right.
Anyway, it's almost over, Al.
Yeah.
I'm here and I'm dressed like a banana.
I know.
I don't know what that
You look
does.
cute.
Do I look cute?
Yeah, with your yellow hair and the yellow...
Yeah, yeah. And you don't like this outfit.
It's not that I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not... It's okay. Yeah. Actually, it looks good from, from your
It's a good
chest
top
up.
shot? Yeah, good top
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, because it's a good color.
Are you keeping anything in those pockets?
My hands, because it's so cold.
No, and your breast pockets.
Well,
Got anything
those
in
are
there?
yours. These are your pockets. You can have them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like your
Okay.
neighbors talking about our sex life.
That's
Not
right.
even neighbors talk about their sex life
Oh,
or lack of.
Nicole, Lewis said, blue balls. LOL. Thank you. Whoops, what
Well,
happened?
show everybody, are they?
What,
Your jacket's blue.
what happened here? Okay, there we are.
Well, that's how comfortable I feel with all of you.
Yeah, Cindy says, poor Al.
Yeah, poor Al.
Yeah.
I know. Every interview I did today, the first question, is it true you two have sex twice a day? I said, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
We're saving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
Our
here's
friend-
menopause. Menopause. Hot flash, help please. Will nasal relief help with nosebleeds? Hold it.
no.
Menopause and nosebleeds. Is there a connection?
No. Those are three different problems. I don't know. Someone in my office has issues with nosebleeds also, and I don't know what causes them. It must be some kind of thinning of the layer inside the nose.
Well, I know people in the 60s who did
Those were people who did a lot of
did a lot
coke.
of cocaine.
Yeah. So glad I never did that. I never did any drugs, other than he gave me a pot brownie on our first date.
And I'm sorry it was badly baked.
Well, I wouldn't have known. I'd never had
Yeah.
pot or a pot
Yeah.
brownie. I
Yeah.
said to him, yuck, it tastes like dirt. He said, it's a pot brownie. Like, I went, okay.
But who was the funniest guy that day?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah. I laughed all night. No, you had me with hello anyway.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You had me before hello.
Hello. I don't think I said hello. I
No.
think I couldn't. I was speechless.
Yeah, well, I was speechless, but I had to say something.
You did. So what'd you say, Big Al?
Would you mind getting me a cup of coffee? That was my come on line. Uh-oh.
Romantic, huh?
Uh-oh, there's a plane overhead. I
No,
hope it's
that's-
one of
that's a
ours.
dentist.
Huh?
What day of the week is this? Is this Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. Yeah, that's a dentist.
That's a World War II plane.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Huh. The light is now changing on the mountain. It's
Oh,
very beautiful.
Debbie Grant says dryness due to menopause can cause nosebleeds.
I didn't know that.
Here you go.
Well, that makes sense, Debbie, because the vagina dries up when you have no hormones.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's the 7 doors of menopause. Itchy, bitchy, sleepy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful, and all dried up.
Wow.
I know.
So what is that, when it's all dry, what is it? Really?
That's why so many women of menopausal age complain that sex hurts. First of all, they
Oh.
can't feel sex because
Yeah.
they're not making any sex hormones. If you're not making estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, your sex hormones, you can't feel sex. So that's why one of 1,000 reasons to replace lost hormones properly. And hormones keep it all juicy.
Huh. You remember that documentary we saw on Netflix about the vagina?
Yeah.
His doctor was...
I didn't see it. You saw
Oh,
it.
that's
I know
right.
that you can't get over it.
No, I can't get over it because it was like, whoa. And this doctor, female doctor, said that if women are not sexually active, either with a
replacing
partner
hormones.
or by themselves,
Uh-huh.
that,
Leave this show.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that their vagina
What else?
ultimately
Yeah.
would turn into PVC pipe.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, there are sure a lot of reasons to restore yourself to hormonal balance.
You know, the thing is, you think you know everything about the vagina, right?
I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, a doctor comes along and says, "Hold everything."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 So, ladies, okay, most of our audience here are ladies, which I like. I like drowning in estrogen, so I'm so glad you all turned
women.
up. I love women. I'm going to a fashion show with Suzanne
Yes.
on Tuesday.
Will you be the only man?
And I'm going to be the only man at the luncheon fashion show.
They'll love you because you get. You know
I
what
love
happens
being
when
with
I sit
women.
him at a table full of women? He does hormone lectures. He's been around
That's
me so
right.
long. But there's so many reasons to replace hormones. Not to get your libido back, but you do. But to keep everything juiced up. That's when I say, don't lose your juice. And I'm not talking about that kind of. I'm talking about energy and that part of you that's alive. So I should really say, instead of you don't want to lose your juice, you don't want to lose your aliveness. You want to be alive while you're alive. And without hormones, any of you who have declined seriously and not replaced, you know what you're feeling. I was there for 3 years, so I know.
So Noreen wants to know the name of the hormones. They're bioidentical hormones.
Yeah. Read in here, because I've written whole books on hormones, but I did for
What are those books?
Ageless. I'm Too Young for This.
Sexy Years.
Bombshell, Breakthrough. I've written so much about hormones. But in here, because I'm trying to appeal to everything that you have questions about now. Now that you've reached this age where stuff is going wrong, parts are breaking. Interesting information about the heart in here. But I put a good size section on bioidentical hormones, plus new information that even if you've read my other books, you don't know. Like one thing Jonathan Wright said in this book that I didn't know, and I also didn't understand what I just learned from you. Jonathan said that they have discovered that the lungs are estrogen dependent. Now, I said, why is that significant? He said, because so many women get lung disease and lung cancer and die of lung disease and lung cancer. And I said, so it's not all about smoking? He said, no, that lungs require estrogen. It's all cells, and every cell, it has its own little job. So, but I had never thought about nosebleeds and lack of estrogen.
Right.
Wow, that's brand new information. I can't wait to go look that up.
By the way, Holly says, being from Quebec, Canada, I've not been able to find a doctor to get bioidentical hormones. Well, Holly, this is your lucky day, because in Ottawa, there's an incredible pharmacist whose name is Kent McLeod.
He's in this book.
He's in the book.
Yeah.
And we're sending everybody in Eastern Canada to Kent McLeod. What was the name of the pharmacy?
Nutrichem. I've lectured for them many times, and man, does this guy know his stuff. Man, does he get it.
These are great people too.
Yeah, Kent McLeod is great. And Kent McLeod also understands the GI tract, like maybe one of the best people out there for understanding the GI tract. See, all these things didn't used to be specialties for doctors because we didn't live as long as we're living now. But now, life extension has arrived. We're here. We're going to live longer. You're going to live to be 90 or 100, like it or not. And so if you're going to live to be 90 and 100, let's do it with quality and enjoy it. That's what Alan and I are doing. What I'm trying to show to you through our Facebook Lives is it ain't over. We're still having a lot of fun. He's still mischievous. I realize we haven't had sex for a number of weeks, but we will. I find myself thinking about it, which is nice.
Nancy Delaney says, I'm from Ottawa. Nancy, I can't recommend Kent McLeod.
I can't either.
Okay. Linda Paulin is his wife, who's part of the business. And this they just opened, I think it's like a 16,000 square foot pharmacy and clinic. So it's like one stop.
He's the guy and his team, they're up there. There's also there are a number of doctors in Canada now, because for the longest time there wasn't, because of the way their medical system is set up. But in Toronto, there's Dr. Peddle, and there's also Natasha Turner, who's a naturopath. So she has doctors in her office, but she's the one who knows everything. But the doctors in her office can do the prescribing. Hormones have to be prescribed by a doctor. You can't just go buy them. That's why I don't sell hormones. I just like to direct you to the right people who say and do and sell the right things. That's my little role in this whole thing.
And by the way, today on SuzanneSomers.com, everything is 25%.
Yeah, how about that? Everything.
And the code is SS25.
And the other thing we have now on SuzanneSomers.com is hydrochloric acid with pepsin, and I'm getting so many great messages from you, feedback that, wow, that's the answer. Because we make hydrochloric acid in our stomach. It's absolutely necessary because that's how we digest our food. You can't digest your food without hydrochloric acid. And if you don't digest your food, you can be eating the greatest food in the world, the highest quality food in the world, and you're not getting the max out of it because there's nothing grinding it up. As we age, we lose hydrochloric acid. That's why you start getting acid reflux. And so what do? You go to the store and you buy an antacid, which is exactly the opposite of what you need, because the reason you have reflux is you're not making enough acid. And now you go take an antacid, and they've got stuff in there that makes you feel like you're getting relief short term, but then you got to go take more, and you got to take more, and it never cures it, does it? It never cures it.
By the way, Shelley McKelman says, is it expensive to have all the blood work done to find out what we need? Well, let me tell you something. There's a foundation called Life Extension Foundation, and it's in the book. Everything's in the book. All the testing is in the book. In the back of the book, it tells you where to go. Most of it goes to Life Extension because their prices are the best. And then when the results come in, one of their health professionals gets on the phone with you and talks down every single line item and tells you what you're deficient in, what you're fine in, etc., etc. We get all our testing done there. It's great.
And they have given me, and it's right back here, I'm looking for it, all the tests, so that you can go to the back of this book, and do you want a test that determines your toxic burden? What's the toxic burden? That means if you feel you're exposed, if you're putting non-organic skincare on, or eating non-organic food, or you clean your house with chemicals, or you just work in an environment where there's a lot of toxins and chemicals. If you're a manicurist, you're around a lot of chemicals all the time. You can take a test to determine your toxic burden and find out your triclothacine levels. So it's all back here, because I find it frustrating to read something and you go, well, I'd like to do that, and then you go, but how do I find it? It's all in here. It's all in here.
So yesterday, we went to a pain management doctor.
We did.
And, going in, I thought, I don't know about this. It's just going to be drug city. But he said, have you tried CBD oil with THC? Yeah. And I said, no. I said, I didn't know that it comes with THC. I thought it's just, CBD, or you buy something that, without it, with THC. He said, no. He said, they make CBD with THC. CBD is the non-hallucinogenic, and THC is the marijuana. Cannabis. Except you don't ingest it. You rub it topically on the part of your body that hurts.
Your skin gets high.
So for the first time in my life, I went into a marijuana store.
That was your first experience?
My first experience. And
but it really worked. I rubbed that on my hip this morning, and it really works. I write about the endocannabinoid system in this book. I interviewed a clinical trialist. I didn't want a doctor. I didn't want you to be reading about somebody who sells it for a living. I wanted what's the word I'm looking for? A doctor who's doesn't have an agenda. He just reports the facts. He works for the CDC. And he said, we have found in our research at the CDC that every single cell in all of our 40 trillion cells has an endocannabinoid receptor, meaning that all along our bodies have been craving cannabis or CBD, and I thought, why? And I thought, well, It eliminates stress. It relaxes. It takes away pain. I'm sure this is nature grew this plant so that we would go, what's that? And either smoke it or eat it or whatever, to give us a natural tranquilizer, a natural pain reliever, a natural stress releaser, and you sleep better with it. So, not interesting, because all our lives this has been illegal, right? And something that as kids you sneaked around and well, I never did until I had my pot brownie with Alan on our first date. Here, I was like such a good girl. I didn't do any of that.
And it was lousy pot.
I wouldn't know.
It was in the 60s.
I didn't know. I didn't know. All I knew was I probably shouldn't be doing this, but what if I never see him again?
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about that.
You were the first time I ever went to a hotel room with a guy.
Well, you're the first time I ever had a girl in my hotel room.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
And you're the first person who ever gave me a pot brownie.
Yeah.
And you're the first person that I ever had sake with, because he had it heating in the bathroom sink in his hotel room. Now, if you're heating your sake in a bathroom sink, you've done it before. This is not your first rodeo. And I had that thought.
Well, just a moment.
I'm 20-something.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
I was staying in a Japanese hotel.
You were.
Okay, the Miyako in San Francisco, in the Japanese section of town, where next door they had a theater. It was a dinner theater, and you can go in there and buy dinner for, $4, and you see a show with 100 people on stage wearing incredible costumes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So beautiful. Anyway, I don't know. I loved Alan Hamill from the moment I met him, and that was our first date.
And you scared the hell out of your mother when you called her the first day and told her you just met the man you're going to marry. I bet your mother thought, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Suzanne, how great, Suzanne.
But I didn't know anything about you, so I had nothing to tell her. I just said, it's just, you get a feeling, and that's the feeling. I feel so lucky about that. I feel so lucky about us.
Well, what are the odds?
It's such an incredible gift to be in love.
Yep. What are the odds of a guy from Toronto meeting a girl from San Bruno, California, in San Francisco? Okay? What are those odds?
Meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
I believe in cosmic energy. I think that things that happen that I don't understand, I just chalk it up to something that maybe one day we'll all understand.
One day, and then we won't care. It will get that. I guess we'll get that information and go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, great. Great.
You know what I love?
Yeah.
The blue lights you put in the pool. That's so pretty.
Not only do we have blue lights in the pool, but I can click it through, and I think we have like 65 different lights.
Oh, we do? I've only seen the blue.
Including red, white, and blue.
What, can you make like a flag?
I don't know. I haven't done the red, white, and blue, but maybe, next July 4th. Yeah.
That's funny.
So, Rachel thinks we're soul mates. You're right.
Yeah, I think so.
You're right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was really young, and I didn't know anything. But it was like...
Yeah, I didn't know much either. But I knew you were it. You were it.
We're having like a love conversation.
Yeah.
This is all this sex talk. The lack of sex
That's
talk.
right, the lack of sex talk. Yeah. You're really in love when you can go for several weeks without having sex, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
See? Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
I know.
Is that a piggy? That's not a piggy comment, is it? No.
Did someone say you're a pig?
No.
Oh, no. They like you.
Oh?
This is Caroline saying, stop talking about sex.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like with her gone, we get to be bad children here today.
Good news.
What?
I just ran out of juice in my cell phone.
Oh, sorry, Caroline.
Yeah. She's going to pop up here and say something. Yeah, okay.
That's funny.
So where are we here? So sweet, y'all. That's from Karen Cornell. So Ann John said, I love my husband the first time I saw him, and we're together 42 years later. Good for you.
Ann.
And by the way, her last name is Johns. We actually have named several rooms in our house after... I'm just kidding. Yeah, okay. By the way, excuse me?
Well, that was like You pulled that joke.
That's joke number 42B.
Yeah, that's like...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and the other day when I told that joke...
Yeah, that doesn't even make me laugh.
About the doctor?
Yeah.
No, you didn't even laugh, and then you said, my timing was bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been with you long enough to be perfectly honest about everything.
That's right. Here's what I said. The doctor said when she when she cracked her hip, she didn't break it, she cracked it, and the doctor said, you have to get into bed and stay perfectly still for 6 weeks. And I said to the doctor, having her stay perfectly still for 6 weeks in bed is not a big stretch for her, doctor.
It's so not funny. I don't know why that makes you laugh so much. And you're the one who hasn't had sex for all these weeks.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
It's either laugh or cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 25% off the entire SuzanneSomers.com site
that's
today.
Right. I forget. We
And
have
if you want to buy the whole site, we'll put a deal together. And what else did I can say about the site? Yeah. Oh yeah, the code is SS, as in Suzanne Somers. And didn't Hitler have a bunch of guys called? Yeah.
But it's SS25, isn't it?
SS25. Yeah.
As in SS 25% off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good day to stock up. Wow, the makeup show's doing well. You like the makeup? I love the makeup.
Yeah.
It's all I wear. I'm so happy to bring you such clean makeup.
And also organic skincare.
So happy to
organic
bring that
hair
to you.
care.
Yeah.
Organic cosmetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
I find with washing my hair with our volumizing shampoo and conditioner and then using the True Brazilian activating serum, I never have an itchy scalp. I never, like my hair is in perfect health.
Well, you got great hair.
And so is my scalp.
Yeah.
And that's all a language. So you have to pay attention to the good language of your body too. When your hair looks great, it's because the balance is right in your body. It's all about balance.
I love sniffing your hair.
This is how he does Joe Biden jokes.
I love sniffing your hair.
So mischievous, isn't he? He's like this bad boy.
Well, your hair smells good. It does.
You want to come over and sniff my hair?
Sure.
Come on over.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do a little hair sniffing. We don't have sex anymore, but we're going to have a little hair sniffing. I'm kind of getting excited. Huh.
Okay.
All right. Go for it, baby. Yeah.
Like a breath of fresh air. Okay.
So you could run. You could run for office.
I totally understand why Biden does.
Caroline.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. Okay. Oh, Caroline said, "Oh my God, you're done, Al."
For what? Which one?
Caroline hates when she's not in control. Right.
We love it.
Yeah, we love it,
it's
Caroline.
Like Mom is gone.
That's
right. We could be. We're as bad today as we've ever been. We're being really bad today. Yeah. This is bad Al.
So Carol Kappelman said you need to go on the talk and dance and sing with Marie Osmond.
Oh, I would love to do that. I love Marie.
Actually, Suzanne has danced and sung with Marie Osmond.
I know.
On a show that we did on an aircraft.
We should run that on the site.
Yeah, aircraft carrier in the early 80s.
Yep. She's a doll.
Yeah,
we talk a lot about doing
she's great.
A double bill in Vegas together, but since she took the talk, she's kind of not so interested in going back to the nighttime grind. Me, I look forward to going back. I just have to get my leg right.
Yeah. Well, you can dance with one leg. You know, there used to be a tap dancer in the early days who was on the Ed Sullivan Show. His name was Peg Leg Bates.
Oh, I remember that. I don't remember it, but I remember the name.
And he had a peg leg.
Oh.
You know, like pirates.
You know, people who have disabilities can do remarkable things. It's so inspiring when you see, the Wounded Warrior Project just moves me when I see these soldiers who, man, what a price they paid, and it's like it doesn't stop them. They run marathons, they have wheelchair marathons, they just don't let their disability stop them. And every time I, want to complain about something, I think about one of those people like, wow, they know what they're going through. Wow.
I love veterans.
Is that a comment?
Yeah, no, it's a comment from me.
Yeah, I do too.
I love veterans.
In the years when we were entertaining the U.S. soldiers, which is, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Do we have any watching us today?
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service in advance.
Either in Ramstein, Germany, or on the SS.
Yeah, but anywhere in Korea. We're all over Korea and all over South Korea. We're at the DMZ. We were at the demilitarized zone long before Trump ever went there, and we were up at the 37th parallel. And when
Did you say the 30-something parallel?
Yeah, that's where we were.
38th parallel.
I'm sorry, 38th. 38th.
Yeah.
I'm never good at math, right? You stand there. But I never thought about. I never connected it to that fantasy I had as a kid. My mother. Did I tell you this story, all of you? My mother used to get these rosary beads, these glow-in-the-dark rosary beads from the Maryknoll missionaries. There's a bunch of little envelopes that she's supposed to put money in every week and send it to them, and then they gave her the free glow-in-the-dark rosary beads. And I would take the rosary beads to the back of my mother's closet, and it was real dark in there, and nobody could find me in there, and I could look at the glow-in-the-dark. But I had this fantasy about communism, because when I was a kid, all they ever said is, you gotta fight communism. I thought, yeah, you gotta fight communism. I didn't know what a communist was, but gotta fight them. So I go in the back with the glow-in-the-dark rosary beads, and I go to the top of the hill, whatever hill, and all the communists were up there, and I would say to the head communist dude, why do you want to fight? And he goes, you're right. And they stopped fighting, and I created world peace. It just dawned on me when we were at that place at the 38th parallel where you could see North and South Korea.
Yeah.
Was that me going to stop communism?
You could have made peace.
I could have made peace. I should have met with him before this guy did.
Except there are a bunch of angry-looking guys pointing AK-47s at you. Yeah.
You cannot, when you go up there into the demilitarized zone, you're told do not make eye contact because it will be seen as aggression, and you just have to act as though they're all invisible. It's creepy. It's weird and creepy. And then you go into that hut there where they signed that famous whatever they signed. What was it?
It was either a truce or something else.
So there's a long table down the middle of that hut. And on one side is the communist side, and one side is...
And we walked on the communist side.
We did walk over there.
Yeah.
I stopped communism.
We could have gotten killed.
I know.
So,
I love being over there.
So I think we're getting a wrap-up from Caroline.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Candy McFamily. No, that's not a real name. McFamily? It's a great name.
Why not?
Al doesn't listen to Caroline.
That's Caroline writing. She made up the name. Why, has this been an hour?
I don't know.
How quickly it goes with all of you.
Yeah.
Well, you learned a lot today. This was like a very informative show. And I hope I've turned you on with this book. I'm really proud of it. I'm so proud of how successful it is. It's really exciting. And you've learned a lot of personal things about us today. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad my mother wasn't watching.
Okay.
Okay.
And here you go.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.